Man, I was living in Costa Rica for a month, and it definitely cost more than it should have. You know what? I'm about to let my boys tell you.
Costa Rica, it cost a lot. Thought you was living cheap. Oh no, you're not. Costa Rica, cost to meet ya a whole lot. Way more than it should. Life ain't that good in Costa Rica. It costs to meet ya a whole lot. Ooh, I can't wait to get out this place. Yeah, Costa Rica, Costa Rica.
Alright, for context, I was living in Medellin, Colombia, so obviously things there are much cheaper than they are in San Jose. I was originally looking at moving to Mexico City, but Mexico City has gotten expensive as hell recently, so I ended up settling on San Jose, Costa Rica. And it's low-key my fault. I didn't do as much research as I should have on what the city would be like before I actually got there, but I saw a nice price Airbnb, decided to go ahead and take it, and just spend a month there and see what it was like. So I ended up finding out that I really didn't like San Jose as much as I liked a city like Medellin, Colombia, but I would have never known this if I didn't have the chance to actually go travel and check it out. My largest expense when I got to Costa Rica was my Airbnb. Ended up spending $1,500 for a month. The good thing was I was in a tower that was kind of close to everything, and I was staying up on the 15th floor, so the views that I got from my condo were probably the nicest that I could get for the price. The rest of my budget really breaks down into the sections you see here. Most of the food and stuff was the majority of my budget, but everything else like my Ubers, the car rental, I didn't really go out that much because I didn't want to spend a lot of money while I was here, so I didn't have the opportunity to go out and go eat or go out to do a whole bunch of things, so I didn't spend a lot on Ubers going places or entertainment. Everything else towards the bottom of this list, my travel insurance, storage, Adobe, all of that is stuff that I need no matter where I'm at, so that's included in my monthly budget, so that way you can get a better picture of what my full budget was while I was living in Costa Rica. The Airbnb I was staying in was definitely newer. You could tell by just the furnishings and how it was built. It was also behind security, so in order to even get in there, they had a gate that you had to go through. Now, the problem with this Airbnb is when we got into the Airbnb, there was mold growing on some of the stuff inside the Airbnb, but that's because there's no air conditions. It's super rainy all the time, and they have to leave the windows cracked. So we had a little problem with that, but the views from the Airbnb, especially during this sunset, wow, it was one of the best sunsets I ever seen, so I will give it that. Food-wise, if you're going out to eat in Costa Rica, you're going to pay the same prices of what you're paying for American food. So if you want to get the cheapest food when you're eating out, the best places to eat are these things called sodas, and they're just small local restaurants, and that's where you can get the cheapest food for the best price. Everything else that I did when I was there, I had to go to the grocery store, and the grocery store prices, if you go to a grocery store called Mas o Menos, definitely more expensive. I didn't find out they had a Walmart there until close to the end of my stay, and that's where I ended up getting most of my groceries from. Now, getting around and traveling, like I said, I didn't take too many Ubers. The Ubers I did take was to and from the airport and then to and from some of the restaurants that I went to. But I did rent a car one day when I went to the Paz Waterfalls, and I had to drive over there. And the one thing about Costa Rica, especially if you're going in October and November time, it is super rainy because it's the rainy season. So you're going to run into a lot of rain and encounter a lot of just damp wetness while you're there, so you got to be prepared for that, especially driving if you're planning to do that. But one of the best places that I did spend time in when I was in Costa Rica was a place called La Paz Waterfall, as I mentioned earlier. This is a place where it's like kind of like an open air zoo almost. They have different exhibits with different animals. You can go inside, see different animals, walk over, see different waterfalls, and they just have a lot of nature park set up within this park. So I did a video over La Paz Waterfalls. If you want to go check it out, I'll link it right here. You can see it. And yeah, it's definitely a cool place to go check out and do something, especially if you want to do something kind of close to San Jose that's not hours and hours away. I think it was only about a 45-minute drive. So definitely a cool place to go check out. The main travel tips that I have if you are deciding to visit Costa Rica for a short amount of time or a long amount of time, don't visit for a long amount of time. Costa Rica to me is not a place where you want to stay at for a month or months at a time. It's a cool place to go visit, especially if you're into nature, to go see things for a little bit, for maybe a weekend or a week or a couple weeks. But staying there for a month or longer, the amount of money that you'll be spending on food and just like everyday things, they up the prices because a lot of things there are Americanized. For example, you'll see companies like John Deere, Walmart, Burger King, a lot of American car companies. So everything there has got the American tax on it, as compared to Colombia, where you're getting things for much cheaper than what you would living in America. So just be mindful of being ready to spend tourist prices or American prices for things that you normally wouldn't if you went to another country in Latin America. Overall, I would give my experience in Costa Rica maybe like a 6 out of 10. Because, I mean, I had a decent time when I went to go visit things like this, the waterfalls that are unique and what made Costa Rica, Costa Rica. But at the same time, I was living there for a month. So I wasn't just going to visit other things. I was actually trying to live a daily life there. And living a daily life in Costa Rica, like I said, is much different than living in another Latin American country, especially one like Colombia, and especially living in a city like Medellin, where there's so many different activities and things to do. And most of the prices there are way cheaper than what you would find living in America. And so that was one of the things that I didn't really like about Costa Rica. If I'm going to be paying American prices, I might as well just live in America and have American amenities. Being in Costa Rica was like paying American prices and not having American amenities, or having lower standard Latin American amenities for certain things. So to answer the big question, would I ever come back here and live again? Absolutely not. This is not a place that I could see myself living. Like I said, it's a place maybe to come visit, but definitely not to live. That's all I got for this one. Make sure y'all check out my other videos on Costa Rica, and also my other videos on Colombia and all the other videos that I have traveling across the world. I'll be going to Thailand soon, so I'm excited to make those videos. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Till the next one, peace.